Alright guys, massive character info for Wuthering Waves. QIUYUAN is looking to be one of the most hyped up characters in WUWA, as we finally just got his official drip marking reveal, confirming him as a long-awaited male character releasing in the second phase of the 2.7 version update. So in today's video, we're going to go over everything we know about this character, like his release date, kit details, element, playstyle, weapon, basically all the early info and speculation going around about this character. And remember, I'm giving out the third lunite subscription for hitting 25k subscribers on this video. All you have to do to enter is be subscribed to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment for one entry, max one entry per person, and the rules will be down below. But alright, first let's start off with who is QIUYUAN. So with the recent drip marketing, we now have a bit more info on what he's all about. So with the drip, he is described as a lone swordsman type of character. He's someone who roams the land without seeking fame, wealth, or power. Instead, his focus is on honing his swordsmanship and living with absolute integrity. This alone already makes him stand out from many characters because he's not tied to any major factions. Instead, he fits into that classic lone swordsman trope, and from the sound of it, he seems very powerful, as they describe him holding his breath and then in an instant, his blade flashes and the battle is over. So they gave him quite the introduction to hype him up as a very powerful sword character. Now let's talk about his release date. When can we actually expect him to release? QIUYUAN is scheduled in the 2.7 update and is now confirmed to come out in the second phase of the 2.7 version update. As if we take a closer look to the drip order, Galbrena came out first, and then QIUYUAN got drip marketed the day after, and usually that determines the banner order. So with that, he's now expected in the second phase of 2.7, which would place his banner in early November. Now regarding the full banners, including the reruns, I went over it in my last video, but for those who haven't seen it, we're expecting Zani, Cartefia, and Lupa to get a rerun in this patch, as we're now at the point of the 2.3 and 2.4 banner characters to be returning, so it will only make sense for those characters to come by in 2.7. Alright, now let's talk about his element and weapon. This has been a very hot topic, as until now we barely had any info on this character, but we finally have an update on that info because news sources came out today, so let's go over it. So QIUYUAN is now confirmed to be a 5-star character, and everything points toward him using a sword as his main weapon. I know the previous discussion was him being rectifier or sword character, but according to the source, he is indeed going to be a sword character. But of course, this is still not confirmed, and we should be getting the confirmation very soon. Now, the real debate was always about his element. Earlier info bounced around a lot. I saw Glacio, then Electro, but then the most consistent and recent info says QIUYUAN is actually going to be a arrow character. And him being arrow, that would actually also line up perfectly with his theme. His drip art definitely gives off a wind swordsman type of character. But then again, when it comes to this game, we can't always go off of looks, because if we did, then Galbrena would most likely be a Glacio character. I actually can't wait for when they officially confirm it. We might be getting that later today, maybe tomorrow, as they typically post a second part of the drip marketing, which is when they show us the element and weapons of the characters. So we should be getting that officially confirmed very soon. But for now, we speculate that he's a arrow sword character. And once we do get confirmation, then I'll update you guys right away on the channel. Alright, so what do we know about his kit? Compared to Galbrena, we have a lot less info, but a few things still came out. The standout info is that QIUYUAN seems to be built around resonance liberation damage. Unlike other sword characters who focus on more sustained combos, QIUYUAN's strength might lie into his liberation being his main source of damage. This hints at him being a burst DPS, maybe unleashing a massive slash, which would be very similar to what they described in the drip marketing. It would definitely reflect his type of character that wants to end battles in one swing. Now, if he does end up being a sword character based on liberation damage, this would mean that the sword from the battle pass would be an amazing option for him, might be the best 4-star option, as it will give everything he needs. It has a crit rate main stat, 20% crit rate, and reading the weapon effect real quick, casting Resonance Abrasion increases attack by 7.2% and grants 10.8% Resonance Abrasion damage bonus for 15 seconds. So if he does end up being a Resonance Abrasion character that scales on attack, then this weapon is looking like a pretty solid 4-star option. Alright, now the big question is, should you actually plan to pull for this character? Now there's a few things to keep in mind because the info is still very limited, but if I go from the info that we talked about in this video, if you are looking for a new Arrow Sword DPS, then he might be the character for you. Also, if you would enjoy burst playstyle, QIUYUAN is looking like he'll hit very hard with his ultimate, providing a very satisfying one strike, one kill playstyle. Another big factor is he's also the first male character since version 2.1, so if you've been waiting for another male headliner, he's definitely worth considering. But now of course his full kit isn't revealed yet, so we don't know his full value and teams and everything, if he brings utility or if he's just pure damage. So I can't exactly talk about his team options or value yet, but still he's shaping up to be a really cool character. And one thing to consider is the next character in 2.8 version update is also right around the corner, and if you're a big fan of Chissa, you might also want to save your asteroids for her instead. But yeah guys, QIUYUAN is shaping up to be a really exciting addition to the game. He's got the Lone Swordsman fantasy nailed down, expected to have a ultimate focus kit with sword gameplay, seems to be a pretty hype character. In the end, if you truly love his design and are a big fan of the Lone Swordsman type of character, then definitely go for it. Hopefully they do something similar to the 2.6 gameplay preview, giving us a small preview of the 2.7 banner characters. That would be really cool. But you guys let me know down below, are you planning to pull for QIUYUAN when his banner drops, or are you saving up for someone else? The banner lineup is looking pretty insane. In 2 weeks we're getting Yuno with a Chikona rerun, and then 3 weeks later we're getting Galbrenna, and then after that it's going to be QIUYUAN. So these characters are pretty insane back to back. And then even for 2.8 we're expecting Chissa, which is yet another highly anticipated character, and all of this back to back is pretty crazy. If we get any more news on these characters, I'll let you guys know right away. But this should conclude all the info for today's video. And don't forget, liking, subscribing, and commenting also enters you into my lunite subscription giveaway. And if you guys enjoyed, put those notifications on as I got you guys covered with the latest news. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.